Hey, it's Amethyst Virgo. So today I'm going to talk about sun aspects to sun, sun aspects to the moon, you and other people, okay? So this is going to be broken down, meaning I'm not going to go into sun aspects Jupiter, sun aspects Pluto, or anything like that right now. I'm primarily just going to talk about sun, conjunct sun, sun square sun, if your sun sextile someone else's, if your sun squares someone else's moon. So I'm focusing on the sun and moon today. So I already have an aspect video, a couple videos where I talk about the chart, your individual chart, but this is about you and someone else. Now, the disclaimer that I'm probably going to put below, I cannot interpret your individual aspects with another person. If you truly need relationship support or chart support, there's a link for Shopify for readings. I do my best work when I have the ability to be detailed and accurate. So I cannot tell you about you and another person if I don't know what else is going on in the chart. And I'm a visual person, so that's why I do that stuff in readings and not like trying to give random, like if you tell me a bunch of placements, my mind doesn't actually make sense of it until I see a chart and then actually put the work into it. So that's just some disclaimer. So please just take this video as information and hopefully some of it will resonate with you. So with that said, if sun conjunct sun, if you see me looking down, as you know, looking at my notes, sun conjunct sun. So if your sun conjunct someone else's sun, that means that there is a really close degree between you and their sun. They are the same sign, or you could have, some astrologers allow for certain aspects, conjuncts that are different signs. So you could have a person who is a 29-degree Virgo and a person who's a 2-degree Libra, and that would be considered a conjunct because of how close those degrees are. Individual preference when it comes to things like that. Personally, when it comes to sun and sun being conjunct, I do tend to like it just to be the same sign. But again, it would depend on other elements in the person's chart. So if a person is a 29-degree Virgo and the other person is a 2-degree Libra, but the Libra person has a lot of Virgo on the chart, then that might make a little bit more sense. You know what I mean? That might make it is a deeper connection. If you have the same sun sign as someone else, basically, you're going to exhibit or light up similar traits. Okay. You're going to recognize one another on a direct and instant level. Oh yeah, you do that too. The sun is the way in which we shine. And even if you're an extroverted sign or an introverted sign or a masculine sign or a feminine sign, either way, it's still expression. You will see the traits, what someone prioritizes about themselves, the traits they choose to show. Because we have all these other traits, but there's only certain ones we feel comfortable showing. That is the sun sign energy. So it can be good because you naturally will feel in a way like this person is similar to me, or this person prioritizes the same aspects of themselves as I do. So on a surface level, you can relate well to your sun if you have sun conjunct someone else. If you're an Aries and they're an Aries, and you know you're a 15-degree Aries and they're a 20-degree Aries or something like that. Now, for those of us who use degree systems, you would have to interpret what kind of Aries is that, right? What is the relationship going to look like if you're a 15-degree Aries, you're a 20-degree Aries? Some people go hardcore in degrees, some people don't. But, you know, it can be good. But let me give an example when it could maybe not be so good. So again, we want to understand that there are pros and cons to everything, even things that sound good. Conjuncts can have cons. A conjunct, what if you have, I'm the same sun sign as you, but the other dynamics of your chart make you a very competitive person. So you might have some Aries people who are just chill, like they're just chill. Yes, they might still have that primordial energy of independence and adventure, but they're more introverted type of Aries. But then another Aries comes around and they think it's like we need to compete, and they're very competitive, and they kind of bring that other side out of that Aries person. You could have a person who is a Gemini sun, and they're the type who are a little bit more carefree type Gemini suns based on placement or degrees or something like that. But a Gemini sun at the 20th degree in the 5th house person might view they might view their mind and their ideas as competitive. I have to compete with you to share what I know, right? That can be very competitive energy mentally. So even though you have sun conjunct sun with someone else, there's a recognition of traits. There's a recognition of things that are visible, but that doesn't dive deeper to the moon or Venus or anything else. But it can be a good thing initially. But to understand if a relationship is actually going to work, you would have to obviously go through the experience of the relationship. Now, Sun square Sun, someone's, in your relation, in your synastry, there's a square. So again, this is very general. I'm not going to go through every sign, all of that. This is very general. So again, placement, signs, all that, chart, pattern, house, everything is going to make a difference when you actually interpret it. But on a basic level, Sun square Sun, there's a different light. So if we're thinking of the sun as our light, it is the traits that we choose to show. Even being introverted, even being more timid, reserved is a personality trait. To be reserved, to think, to be cautious, to be someone who is more calm or more gentle. That is a personality trait. It's not just the egregious, open, big personalities that count as personality. There can be different priorities. Like when your sun is squaring someone else's sun, you don't have the same default energy. You're not walking into a room to do the same things. The Virgo is walking in to observe first. I need to see who's here. That's why a lot of Virgos, I've seen this, I've experienced this. You walk into a new setting. A lot of times, especially if it's brand new, you're going to cling to one who you know or other earth sign. You're going to find other earth sign people because their demeanor is going to be similar, right? In some ways, or you're going to find like a Cancer person or a Scorpio. The signs that you sextile is what a Virgo might draw to when we walk into a room and we don't know anyone. Now, if I walk into a room and I know everybody, I'm going to talk to whoever I need to talk to. It's but it's a different default energy. You're there to do something different. I'm showing a different side. When you go into a certain setting, what are you here to really do, right? Aries, I might say, I need to get involved in that. I need to, I need to find my place in this room, and you can have different signs are going to have just different levels of awareness, right? Sagittarius might be like, oh, who looks interesting? Who would I like to talk to? Like this, like they're looking at the different makeups of the people, because you can have Sagittarius people who have more of that, like, I'm drawn to something new, exotic, and different type of energy. I don't need to just only talk to people that I know. And again, risings and all these things will make some differences when it comes to this. So if your sun squares someone else's sun, personality, it might be difficult to understand each other's personalities, but you might still relate on other levels. You could have both Venus, water signs you can both have water Venus signs. You can have the same moon. Well, actually, you wouldn't have you wouldn't have an instant understanding of what that person's trying to project. It might even be a turnoff at times. When you feel like, what is this person trying to do? You can have it. Let me give you an example. Even though I think Pisces, if someone has Pisces and Sag in the same chart somehow, I think that could be a beautiful energy together. However, you could have people, a Pisces sun and a Sagittarius sun, that's completely turned off of each other when they first meet. The personalities just do not work out well. They don't blend as easily. So that's one example there. The sun, if the sun is opposing sun, so if your sun opposes someone else's, it's in the opposite sign. Again, when you do certain degrees, you look at certain programs, it will allow for an opposition to be by degree, not by sign. I don't like that, because I do like to look at oppositions as like Gemini is opposing Sag. That's it. Virgo opposes Pisces. But, sometimes I'll tell people when I'm doing a reading, if I'm typing a report, like, this is opposition by house, not sign. So you can get what I'm saying. Anyway, you can tend to balance one another's traits. I think there are some opposite signs that I see together a lot. I see a lot of Aries, Libra energy sometimes, like people who are Aries or Libra in relationships with each other, which I think is interesting. Some people tell me, I think Taurus and Scorpio also seems to be another common opposite sign pairing where you tend to see these people a lot. So I have like water on my neck. I just washed my hair. So these people can say like, I sense we come from the same element. Like you feel like there's something similar about us. We're very different, but I'm willing. It's different than a square, where a square produces tension immediately. An opposition feels like, okay, we're different. And sometimes when you see something different, you already know it's something that you want to invest your time in, right? I'm sorry about that. So that's something just important to keep in mind with oppositions. Now, with the opposition sun, there is a blending sometimes. I do think oppositions between two people, it produces the best chance of, I don't want to say adapting to, well, maybe adapting to the other person's style. Because at the end of the day, you're the same modality. At the end of the day, Scorpio and Taurus are both fixed energy. They're both fixed. So they can work as partners. Your sun opposing someone else, we're partners. Like, okay, you got the emotional security, I got the financial security, right? Or, okay, yeah, you're intense, but I'm gonna calm us down. Or I'm really too calm right now. You need to remind us that something is really serious and we need to really deal with this head on, right? So when you have opposite sun signs, if the people are willing to work together, you start to learn the energy better and you start to see how it can benefit you. So if your sun opposes someone else's sun, that does not mean, oh no, I can't date that person, I can't be friends with that person. It really doesn't mean that. It's going to mean, typically, yes, there's some things to work on, but it's almost like you have to learn how to give and take in order for you to really both win the companionship of each other. Now, sun sextile, remember, sextile it's pretty beneficial. Now, it's not like a trine. I'm gonna get to the trine in a moment. I'm not going in order right now. But with a sextile, it's like, okay, this is an opportunity. This is interesting. This is, it's somewhat different, but you get to understand each other. So for sun sextile, I said personality doesn't necessarily rub you the wrong way. You're not instantly turned off. Some sun energy can be turned off to each other, right? But with a sextile, it's, I know this is different. There's something different about you, but there's something else that I feel like we can get along. That's the energy of a sextile. Think about how you have signs such as Gemini and Leo that are sextile. These are signs, one is more extroverted in personality, one is more extroverted in maybe the way in which they express themselves, the way they engage and communicate with other people. But there, you can both say that, and again, if it's a sextile, it's going to be the same element. So those are both they're going to be the same, they're going to be feminine, masculine. So Gemini and Leo are both masculine signs, okay? Again, we don't get caught up in whether you feel masculine, you feel feminine, whatever. The expression of a placement is masculine or feminine. And in astrology, if you break that down, you know what that means. So the point here is you understand as a natural ability, like, okay, this could work. We're different, but there's something you have that I might want. That's how sextile is different than a trine, where trine is the same element, fire, air, water, whatever. Okay. And it's like, it's like, I don't not understand you. Like, I can understand you. I can give you a chance. I can kind of figure that out. So sun sextiles might not be strong at first, like, but it doesn't it's not an aversion. It's not like, ugh, something's up with that person. Now, again, we're only talking about personality. We're talking about sun. We're talking about light. We're talking about what you are, confident, projecting, whatever those traits may be about yourself. This is a sun sign energy. We're not going deeper yet, right? We're not going deeper into someone's emotional being and things like that. Now, sun trines. Okay, so if your sun trines someone else's, you're a Capricorn, they're Taurus or something like that. We know how to work together. You would know how to work together and naturally assume your roles. You don't have to. So a conjunct is, we're here. We're here. Okay. We need to, we have these similar traits, whether they're good or bad together, right? The trine is, we already assume our roles naturally. It's unspoken in a way. Remember, a trine could be something in an individual chart that people take for granted. So with trines, but because of the trine has a sense of natural harmony. So for example, let me give an example. Sun in Libra, Sun in Gemini. Okay. The Sun in Gemini will say, okay, let me see what you think. Like, this is what I think about things. And the Sun in Libra is, let me entertain your idea. I'm going to talk to you about that. Okay, that's your idea. Let me talk about it, right? It's air energy. As opposed to Gemini, who could Gemini hit a wall with? Gemini and Pisces. this square. So you could have Pisces that wants to get to the fundamental, deeper, profound meaning of something. Let me question this, but I want to question it in order to understand something deeper. But Gemini might be more objective, but Pisces wants to understand the meaning and the deeper thought of something. Now, again, the individual people can really like each other's energy. This is not saying if you're a Gemini, you can't like a Pisces and vice versa, but we're saying the natural absorption of what you find important is going to be different, right? Because Pisces is like, I want to uplift. And Gemini is like, yeah, but we have to get these ideas out, or we have to talk about this, or we need to read up on it. Pisces is like, I don't need to read it. I sense this. I already know, right? I'm coming from a different place than you. So that requires, it's a square. So that's what I said with the square. You're coming from a different place. You have a different default energy. Yeah, it can work, but you have to learn to navigate one another. But, and so now we're going to move into sun aspect. All right. Sun aspects to the moon. Okay. Sun aspects to the moon. So, with sun aspects to the moon, what you're going to want to think about is, now we're not talking just about personality. We're talking essence, your vitality, what you show up as, right? What you are delivering to the world in a way from your sun sign every day. Like that part of you is there present, shining a different light based on whatever your sign is, your trait. Now we're going to look at the moon and ask, does what you represent match what someone feels on the inside? And that is important. People want to feel validated for how they feel. And some people's personalities can come off a way where you don't feel validated, or where you don't feel safe, or you don't feel comfortable, right? So that is something just to keep in mind about sun aspects to the moon, is they are important because if we go deeper in understanding what it's actually meaning, it's meaning that who you are supports what I feel. Who you are makes me feel safe. Certain signs can rub other signs, make signs feel like, whoa, this is too much. I don't feel safe here. You're doubting my ideas. You're doubting who I am. You are just, you could view someone as disrespectful because they come off a certain way, but you're like, it's not. That person who's quiet just doesn't like small talk. It doesn't mean they are snobby. That person who's very egregious and loud and all that doesn't mean that they're trying to make you feel uncomfortable. That's just their personality. So you get what I'm saying? So like those experiences are what you can be, what I mean by sun aspects to the moon. So let's do sun conjunct the moon. Well, if someone's sun conjuncts your moon, or vice versa. So that means, or you could be the moon person, you could be the sun person, whatever. It means you're naturally amused perhaps by them. You're naturally amused by the things people do. So if your moon, say I'm a moon in Sag, and I see sun Sagittarius sun people, and if they're conjunct, again, we talk about the energy in a broad way, but by synastry, you would want to look at the degrees and how close these conjuncts are, things like that. You feel a connection to their sense and their voice of truth and what they are and what they embody. So let's say, but I'm going with the Sagittarius example. I get Sagittarius suns. I'm not your personality, right? Like the personality part of it, I cannot relate to because Virgo and Sagittarius are square. So that part of it, I can't resonate with. Like sometimes I'm like, Sag, why'd you say that? Or Sag, you know what I mean? But sometimes I'm like, go Sag, because sometimes Sag does deliver what needs to be said. And there is an unapologetic level to it. And as a Virgo, we have a way with words as well, but we have to be Virgo rising, Virgo sun. We have to be more conscious. We're more tactful in how we say things in a way. So though that usually suits us well, you sometimes need that Sag person who is like the voice of, no, I'm going to stand up for what I believe in, or I'm going to say this. I don't care how it comes out. I'm not going to string my words together the way a Virgo or Gemini would. I'm going to say just what it is. But they can be very verbose, so they do have a lot that they can say. But with the sun, the sun conjunct moon relationship or situation is there's a natural understanding from the point of the moon person of why you did what you did. There's I get it. I'm not like you, but I get it. And that can be a great way for relationships. When people seem very different, you're like, what keeps them together, or what keeps them in a relationship or friends or whatever? It can sometimes be that sun conjunct moon, because what you are is what I am on the inside, but I don't need to express what you are. I'm a Sag moon. I'm exploring inside. Like, I'm always trying to understand truth of self. I'm always driven to understand things for my own benefit. But you're out in the world, Sagittarius, doing Sagittarius things. I get it. So even though when I don't understand why you react to some of the ways you do, I get it in a way because of that Sun conjunct Moon energy. So that's just an example. You can use that with any sign. Obviously with Sagittarius is a different personality type, but you can use that same analogy with something else as well. You know, if you're, you have a certain sun sign and you conjunct someone's moon and you sense like, I understand you, but I'm not you, but we still can have a common ground. Now, if someone's Sun Trine, sorry, this is like shaking, using different type of Sun Trine Moon. These traits are soothing. They blend into the person's emotions. Remember what I said with the Sun Trine, the Sun, right? If you suns trine together, naturally absorbing each other, naturally knowing your role. Let me see what else I said. I'll say, so example, Sun in Aries, Moon in Leo. Sun in Aries, Sun in Aries says to Moon in Leo, Sun in Aries says, I have felt that urge before. Yeah, Leo, yeah, I get it. I get why you want that so much. I get that energy. I understand. And Leo, Moon in Leo says, or internally says, I'm going to give you the attention you need. I'm going to make you feel important, Aries, Sun, because you're going to exhibit those traits. But the Moon, I'm going to nurture your talents, but only if you give me what I need as well, right? So that's an example of the Sun Trine Moon. It is, you are supporting in a way the personality if you're the Moon. And through the Sun person, it's your traits in some way make that person feel safe. Like, okay, I'm understood, I'm recognized, I'm safe. I feel safer when people understand me, because if you don't understand me, I don't know how you're going to relate to me. I don't know how you're going to care for me, right? So that's something just to keep in mind, man. Just looking at the time because I gotta go soon. All right. Sun sextile the Moon. Okay. So, sorry, like I said, this is wobbling, it's annoying. Yeah, I have like different setups that I have to do when it comes to filming. So sorry if that's distracting. Sun sextile the Moon. Remember, we talked about the sextile as a opportunity to understand. We're not the same, but I see there's something in you. I see potential in you. We could maybe make this work. The energy of the Sun sextile Moon is I didn't understand or know at first how to nurture or connect to you on an emotional level, but now I see opportunity. Keep in mind, these people could have the same sun. So here's what I mean. Sun sextile Moon. At first, it's like, I don't really know how I'm going to give you what you need. We have to kind of figure some things out. Your sun is in, let me think of a good sextile pair. If your sun is in Libra and your moon is in Sagittarius, well, that Moon and Sagittarius person might seem a little, you might feel like, okay, they're very responsive to their moods. They're very responsive. They're reactive. They're very excited about certain things that they want. But they can, sometimes I'm not sure where direction they're going with their emotions. But as a Sun and Libra person, you're naturally someone that likes to entertain the ideas and the perceptions of other people. So what you could end up doing is, through time, you understand, oh, when that Sagittarius Moon person is into something, let me talk to them about it. I shouldn't stop that Moon and Sag person. That Moon spirit needs a little bit of freedom. But it's the Sun in Libra, I'm ruled by Venus. I need a little bit of freedom too, right? I need a little bit of freedom as well. I don't want to feel stifled. I don't want people to tell me I have to think something. Yeah, I can see both perspectives, but at the end of the day, I don't like chaos. And Sagittarius sometimes can be like, yeah, I don't really like responsibility all that much. So, and again, by responsibility, I'm not trying to say irresponsibility. I'm talking about the Moon. I am a Moon and Sag. But Moon and Sag energy does tend to want freedom in doing what it needs to do, what it wants to experience, what it needs to feel without being told you should feel this way. So the Sun in Libra person could learn to do that. And the reason why I say keep in mind they could have the same sun sign is because this person, you could be a person where you have the same sun sign, but your moon is in 2 signs away from that person's sun. And that means emotionally, you have some work to do, Whereas it might have felt different when you first met them, Sun conjunct Sun. Oh, we're similar. But then once you get into the relationship, you get deeper with that person. You have to understand their emotional style. So now Sun aspect ascendant, if we're talking about the Sun, let's do this. If you're talking about the Sun conjunct or trine, sextile, there are differences, obviously. Now, what you will see with positive aspects of Sun, I'm not breaking it down by each one right now, but you're doing what I've always wished I could do, or your approach to life is similar to the traits and personality traits I naturally embody. If you're talking about Sun, your Sun and conjunct someone's ascendant. Oh, you're doing the things that I think are important. This is my personality. You're doing the things, but you're not me. The Sun conjunct ascendant. Virgos. When you see a Virgo rising person, you're like, oh, your approach to life, you're organized, you're detailed, but that's not your personality. But the way in which you see this person respond to life and their instincts are really going to be something that you notice as well. Now, again, the conjunct being like, we're here, we can work together. We're kind of operating under a similar mode. You know, if you have a trine here with the Sun trine, if your Sun is trining someone's ascendant or vice versa, well, now it's you're learning to blend in together. You are naturally going to assume certain roles that supports one another's personality, shine. A person might get more confidence from being around you, or, you know, you can get that boost of, oh, wow, that person is really doing the things that I should be doing, or that person is doing the things that I find important. So Sun aspects to ascendant can be great, especially when it comes to people feeling confident around each other, like feeling like I feel supported. You ever did something, you're like somebody, you know, someone disapproves of how you did it, or how, but that's really not what you're going to see here. You know, and the sextile again is similar with the need to understand things in a way that is different, but with opportunity being there. You might try new things. Sun sextile ascendant being around this person. The sextile again is an opportunity. It's something new you have to kind of engage in. Like I said, my experiences with especially like me sextiling Cancer and Scorpio energy, like I get that, I understand that, I can enter, I get the energy of those signs. Doesn't mean any sign gets along perfectly all the time, all day long, but you want me to do this? So if someone's Sun squares your ascendant, the experience can feel like, or vice versa, the traits that you naturally embody, or the traits that the Sun person embodies, does not match the instinctual approach to that person. And so it's not as glaring, I guess you could say, as like a Sun square Mars situation or something where the tension is really obvious. But I would say with, remember the ascendant, and again, there's a video that I did on the rising, the ascendant energy. We have to start to look at it as instinct. And I've been doing a lot of research on astrologers who have said the same thing, something similar of like, if the ascendant's on the first house cusp, Mars rules the first house, right? So there is a natural energy output, and your instincts are not conscious. You're not always aware of what you're doing while you're doing, but it's something embedded deeply within, right? And so when the Sun is square the ascendant in a relationship, right, you don't feel aligned with the way in which that person chooses to handle situations, or how that person responds to life, right? So it's not like Mars. We'll talk about that in another video. But let me give an example. So let's say, let me pick up two signs that are square. This, I know this well. So let's say Sun square ascendant. So let's say someone's Sun squares Virgo ascendant. Let's say Sagittarius squaring someone's ascendant. So you're a Sag Sun, they're Virgo ascendant. Well, what will sometimes happen here is the Virgo person's need for caution, to double check, to plan, to organize, to orchestrate things in such a way where it's meticulous, is how they do things, right? So that can be the energy of the ascendant. Doesn't mean that they are Virgo, but their instinct, their approach to situations. That Sun, the Sun and Sagittarius person is like, well, this is life. We're here to explore and figure it out. We're here to do things so we can get closer to understand the approach, the point, the purpose. So I might not, if I was a Sun and Sag, I might not understand this Virgo ascendant person's response to everything. How in which, even if I'm attracted to them. So let's say a person, you're a Sun in Sag and their Sun in Leo. And you think automatically, oh, this is fire energy. This is going to be good. So your suns recognize each other. Remember, I just did the sun trine one, right? So you recognize one another because remember, trines naturally can assume a role. Remember, sun is bright, it's light, it's what we see. We sometimes have to peek beneath the clouds to see what someone really is. But let's say they're Virgo ascendant though. So what happens sometimes is you then understand there's another dynamic to that person where they exhibit certain personality traits, but when it comes to their mode of how they respond to life, their approach to how in which they are navigating this world, there is a very Virgoan nature to this person. That is where sometimes you can find there could be slight differences and difficulties. I do not personally think Sun Square Ascendant, I think that it can be, depending on other factors in the chart, I'm not as concerned about that in a synastry chart. I'm not super concerned about that, especially if other aspects of the people's charts line up very well. They have some trines and conjuncts and other energy going on. So that was just one example that I wanted to give. When your sun squares someone else's ascendant, your natural traits don't really gel well with the way in which they naturally choose to, or the natural way in which they embark upon life. Right? Because they're, you know, even if this person is not a Virgo, they're going to go about things in a very cautious manner. And you're like, wait, you're the Leo, you're the Lion, you're courageous. What do you mean you're second guessing it? But the other part of their fulfilling their life path is going to be understanding how to embody Leo traits, but their instincts are going to be to do those Leo traits and to be that person in a way in which you are still refining different aspects of your life. You have a bright personality, but when it comes to things that matter or things that are responsive, this person has a different mode of being. Now, if your sun is square someone's moon or vice versa, if you're the moon person, they're the square person, the personality may not support the emotional nature of this person. It doesn't mean it's impossible, but it can mean there's tension. Oh, you're too sensitive. Oh, you're not sensitive enough. Oh, you don't understand how I'm feeling. This could be the person where you guys have a great social life. You and your partner, you both have really, your Venus aspects work well together, right? There's some dynamics of your chart. We just have great social experiences. You have, maybe shared friends, something like that. But when it comes to the emotional part of a relationship, and each relationship has different layers to it, which is why sometimes you don't quite see problems pop up until certain other things occur in your life. Now, how they operate does not feel supported by your natural traits and disposition. The moon person then feels like, wait, your way of being, your conscious projection does not support how I feel. If you have let me get a moon in Pisces, who says, I'm doing a lot of mutable energies. Let me pick a different one. Okay. All right. Let's get, all right, let's say we have the moon in Scorpio. Let's say we have the moon in Scorpio person. Private, protective, has really good instincts and awareness of protection against things that don't feel right. I'm guarded. You have to unlock, you need a key to get inside of my emotional well-being. You might not understand me. You have to figure me out. You have to understand my emotions. Then I'm going to loosen up if that's a moon in Scorpio. But let's say the sun, this is a Leo sun. So, okay. So what's happening here with the Leo sun person? Leo sun person is like, hey, we're going to this event. We're going here. Here's my friend. Meet this person. Meet that person. Oh, yeah, you guys want to come back to my house? Now, let's say this is a Scorpio person. This is a moon and Scorpio person. They have moon, Scorpio energy other places. They don't feel comfortable. No matter how this person, they might have been nice. Hi, nice to meet you. But the moon in Scorpio person is like intensely devoted to what it feels a sense of connection to, right? And in moon and Scorpio has to already work so hard to let someone in, to be vulnerable, that it takes a process. So then there's trust issues. There could be paranoia, especially let's say this person has, maybe they have Pluto in Scorpio, maybe the moon conjunct Pluto. So they're like, I don't want to go with these random people. I don't feel safe there. But the Leo sun person who has other dynamics showing that they're just kind of open. They're like, no, like it's cool. I know this person through this other person. And so that's what I'm saying, where That's an example of how a person's personality is like, no, I'm exuding this. I need to show the world that I'm open, that I'm inviting, that I'm welcoming. I want to be welcomed into your space as well. That's a Leo sun. Whereas the Moon Scorpio person is like, do you see what I'm saying? So even if their charts work well, this is situations you get into with people are going to then have those planets interact in an example like this. So for example, you can have, let me do Pisces Moon. The Pisces Moon says, I need nurture and empathy. I need empathy. I need to be understood. Listen to me. A lot of Moon and Pisces people sometimes don't feel listened to. So if you have a Moon and Pisces person in your life, or a child, or whatever, it's important to like indulge them, like give into what they're talking about. Even if at first you don't understand it, it's like, oh, are they talking in code? What's going on? Like, listen to them. Because there is a need to feel like, listen, I'm processing how I'm feeling. I need you to listen to me. Whereas a Sag Sun might have really more of a brash, abrupt energy, right? So it's like, why are you so sensitive? Why are you feeling this way? Like, you know, let's just go do this. Let's go do that. And Moon Pisces, like, I need to preserve my energy. What do you mean? Just go do something, right? That's an example. And lastly, the Sun opposing the Moon. Oppositions, as we learn to work with oppositions, we understand that there is an opportunity to come together. There's why there are certain sayings like opposites attract, because it's a balancing factor, okay? And in every relationship, you need some level of balance. Unless you and this person are the same exact person. But if you're the same exact person, which isn't going to happen, but if you're too much alike, where are you growing? Where are you learning from another person how to engage in life in a slightly different way? Doesn't mean they are controlling you or that you have to change. But in life, we are supposed to learn from people that we are inspired by in order to change for the better. So with the oppositions here, Sun opposing the Moon, this relationship could have discovery and opportunity to blend together. You can strengthen one another. Like, oh, wow, you know, you have this, I have that. Okay, you handle things emotionally in this way, but I can project in this type of way here. And like, how do you use that in a way that helps you see the middle ground? It feels like a stark difference at first, but you're really trying to do the same thing, just in a different way, especially when we think of opposite sign energy, right? I give examples a lot about Taurus and Scorpio. Okay, we're talking about some sense of, you know, protection, preserving. And Scorpio, it's through emotions. Like, I'm not giving my emotions to everyone or every situation because it's so intense and it's very complicated. Taurus is resources. I'm keeping my resources because I need them. I need to have these resources, and I'm only going to give them if I feel like it is going to lead to something else. That's why you can have Taurus people who are generous in some situations and not others. So that's an example of the Sun and Taurus person and the Moon and Scorpio person, or vice versa. It could be the Sun and Scorpio, Moon and Taurus person. Either way, you learn together like, oh, wow, okay, so you're more leading the emotional aspect of us, and you're leading more of the journey together in which your traits, your personality, how you come across, what you choose to project is helping me see the light in a different situation. But you're helping me see the emotions, the emotional aspects. And because it's the same, because it is the same modality, right? You then get to understand the different layer of each other. For example, I'll give one more example. Signs that I think would be good to example for this. Capricorn and Cancer. So Capricorn, I'm going to get the work done. I'm going to do the work. I'm going to go out into the world. I'm going to be goal oriented. I'm going to make sure we have everything we need for our household. I'm going to make sure that our family has honor to their name. I don't know. I'm exaggerating. The Cancer person, right? And again, we're this Moon, Sun, whatever. I'm going to protect home. Doesn't mean they always have to work home, but I'm protecting home. I'm making sure our household is in order. I'm making sure the people in our household feel supported and nurtured. So either way, we're going to be good when it comes to our stability, and we're going to be good when it comes to our emotional needs as well, right? And so through that, both Capricorn and Cancer are offering a sense of security in a way, right? But it's just being done through a different way, right? It's being done through a different approach to still trying to get to the same need. And because of that, I think Sun opposing Moon does not necessarily have to mean it doesn't have to mean anything bad. It simply means you have to be willing to value what that other person is giving that you don't necessarily have naturally. A Capricorn Moon person who's driven by the goals, and they see that the Sun and Cancer person is natural instinct is to show themselves as someone who is caring, emotionally intelligent, somewhat reserved, right? Has to feel and sense things out. Well, your Capricorn moon, your moon is already in detriment. So you're trying to figure out like how to even deal with emotions, right? But you can see that through your Sun and Cancer partner or friend or whoever. How they do it. Okay, I can kind of match that energy. It doesn't mean you're changing who you are, but we all have to have certain experiences in life to be human. It doesn't matter if you're logical, you're emotional, you're this, you're that. We all have to have certain experiences in life to be human beings, okay? And so that's it. If you have any suggestions for any other synastry aspects between two people, again, I probably can't get into the signs, because once you start getting degrees and signs and stuff like that and houses, that's a reading, and I can't give personal readings via YouTube. But if you like, hey, can you do Sun Jupiter or Sun Mars or Sun Square, whatever it is that you're interested in, feel free to drop a comment. Thank you for watching.